Welcome to NGH's Quality Assurance Training. Quality assurance, or QA, is very important to NGH. We are nationally certified under ISO 9001-2015. Some clients require certification for us to work on their projects. As consultants, our reporting and advice is the product we sell, and therefore it is vital that all work is of a high quality standard. NGH has many mechanisms to ensure our systems are undergoing continuous improvement and are appropriate to support the quality of our products, including the Systems Committee, staff and client feedback, annual internal management review, during which we set objectives and targets for the following year and review our systems, annual external QA audit, during which all of our systems are checked by the external auditor, and internal project audits. If a new subcontractor is being used, they must be registered in the system before they commence work. If a subcontractor is injured on site or causes injury to a member of the public while working for NGH, and they do not have adequate insurances, NGH could be held responsible for any claims. This could result in losses of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Registering a new subcontractor in the system is as simple as sending an email to the QA coordinator providing the name and email address of the proposed subcontractor. The QA coordinator will carry out all the compliance checks, obtain all the necessary documentation, and set them up in Vantage Point. You will be notified when the subcontractor is compliant. A series of templates is available for proposals, reports, and letters of advice. These are available in FileCamp. You will receive an email from nghconsulting.filecamp.com inviting you to log in. Click on the link, create a password, and click Login. If you are experiencing access issues, contact the marketing team. This will take you to the FileCamp folders page. Make sure you save the URL into your favorites. Once you are in FileCamp, double-click on the Templates icon. This will take you to the Template Folders page. The Letterheads folder contains Letter of Advice templates for each office. The Letter of Advice is a brief report not exceeding 2 pages in length. Appendices can be added in addition to the 2 pages. If the document does exceed 2 pages, the General Purpose Report template must be used. The Proposals folder contains the detailed proposal template and letterhead proposals for each office. The Reports folder contains the General Purpose Report and a series of specialised reports such as the Review of Environmental Factors and the Due Diligence Report. The report templates are always left justified. The NGH standard font is Arial Nova 10 point. Line spacing is 1.15 lines. Do not change the templates. They have been set up to be fully accessible, and these settings are part of NGH's corporate image. Never copy over an old template. Always use a new one. This will prevent the possibility of the document developing glitches that can be very difficult to fix. If you find that the report you are writing is very similar to a previous one, you can copy the body of the document into a new template. However, make sure you do not copy headings or citations, as this can cause glitches and formatting problems with the new document. Such glitches can include incorrect section and page numbers that cannot be fixed, table formatting problems that recur each time the document is opened, and referencing errors. The report template has a draft watermark on it. This must not be removed until the report has been approved and the final version is ready to send to the client. Removal of the watermark should be the last action prior to converting the document to PDF for transmission to the client. There are two types of draft reports, internal and external. The internal draft is the first version that is created. Internal drafts are reviewed internally and do not have version numbers. Once a document has been approved internally and is ready to send to the client for review, it becomes an external draft and is given a version number. Currently, we have two locations for saving files. This will change as we transition all projects to SharePoint. In the interim, reports can be saved either on the server or in SharePoint, and there is a different naming convention for internal drafts in each case. Once a report becomes an external draft, the naming conventions are the same, regardless of where they are saved. Let's look at this in more detail. If a report is saved on the server, the naming protocol is project number, project name, document name, version. In this case, the project number is A200123. The project name is Hume Highway Safety Works. The document name is REF and the version is draft, followed by the date on which it was created. The date is written as year, 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 month, month, day, day. Once the document is written, it will be reviewed. When reviewing the document, open it, click Save As, then add your initials to the end of the existing file name directly after the date. Then activate Track Changes. If a second person reviews the document on the same day, that person will open the document, click Save As, add their initials after yours, and save it into the same folder. They will then activate Track Changes. If the document is reviewed the next day, the reviewer will open the document, click Save As, update the date in the file name, and add their initials, then activate Track Changes. The author's initials are not added to the file name, only the reviewer's. Never delete previous versions. It is a requirement of our QA certification that all previous versions are placed in the superseded folder and not deleted. Because multiple people can work on a document in SharePoint at the same time, it isn't possible to add initials to the end of the document. Instead, a record of authors and reviewers can be found by right-clicking on the document, then clicking Version History. The naming protocol is project number, project name, document name, draft. This name is used for the duration of the writing and reviewing process of the draft internal report. Once the draft document is ready to be submitted to the client, it becomes an external draft. To convert a document from an internal draft to an external draft, open the document, click Save As, change the name to Project Number, Project Name, Document Name, Draft Version 1.0. It is now ready to go to the client. All internal drafts should be moved to the superseded folder. If the client requests some minor changes, open the document, click Save As, and change version 1.0 to version 1.1. Version 1.0 is moved to the superseded folder. Activate Track Changes prior to making the changes. If the client requests major changes, the document will be named version 2.0 rather than version 1.1. Minor changes include spelling, punctuation, substituting one image for another, changing some contents of a table, changing a few words or an isolated sentence. Major changes include changing whole paragraphs or sections of a document or a whole table. Once the draft is approved by the client, it becomes the final version. To do this, open the document, click Save As, remove the word draft and the version number from the file name, and replace it with Final Version 1.0. It doesn't matter what the draft version number was. Once it becomes the final version, it reverts to version 1.0. It is saved into the Final Reports folder. Accept all track changes, obtain internal approval of the final document, remove the draft watermark, and convert it to PDF. It is now ready to send to the client. If the client requests further changes, the document is saved as either Final Version 1.1 for minor changes or Final Version 2.0 for major changes. However, try to avoid making changes to documents once they are finalised. Check with the client prior to sending to ensure that they are ready for the final version to be issued. Both boxes in the document verification table must be completed for both draft and final reports. This clearly shows who was the author and approver at each stage of the report. Reviewing should be by the approver, but if this is delegated to someone else, it must be by an appropriate professional staff member, that is, one who has relevant expertise relating to the subject of the report. The review is for accuracy of content, technical standards, conformity to the client's requirements, conformity to NGH's quality system, and general presentation, including spelling, grammar, and formatting. For certain reports, the approver needs to be an accredited person. For example, an EIS requires a New South Wales Planning Certified Registered Environmental Assessment Practitioner, and BDARs require an accredited BAM assessor. Check with your regional manager to ascertain the most appropriate person to approve your report. A senior person can approve a document, but not if they were also the author. There must be at least 2 people involved in the writing and approval process. Letters of advice can only be signed by seniors or senior project managers. In the last line of the letter, the author can be referenced as a contact if that person did not sign the letter. Remember, when reviewing a document on the server, first save it as a new document and add your initials at the end of the file name. Then activate track changes. Previous versions are never deleted. They are moved to the superseded folder. This is important for our QA certification. Avoid saving project documents to your desktop. They should only be saved in the appropriate project folder. By saving to your desktop, you run the risk of 2 people working on the same document in different locations. If you find that you have to save it to your desktop for a short time, such as while working from home with poor internet, ensure that you notify your colleagues that you are working on it and return it to the project folder as soon as you have finished with it. If there are lots of photographs and maps in your document resulting in a large file size, you can compress the photos to 150 ppi without losing any resolution. There are instructions in the General Purpose Report template on how to do this. It is very important that documents are saved correctly in the project folder or in PIM, and the QA auditor will check projects to ensure that the required documents are available. The items to save in the project folder are the brief from the client, acceptance of the proposal from the client. This could be in the form of a purchase order, the brief sent to the subcontractor, the subcontractor's quote, the email sent to the client requesting a variation, and the client's written acceptance of a variation. Emails saved to the project folder should be saved as a PDF because emails can become difficult to open over time. If emails are saved to PIM, make sure that you change the subject name so that they can be easily found later. Some important documents that will assist you throughout your project are the QA1 checklist, which is a step-by-step checklist for all stages of the project, and the document and record control procedure, which details the writing and approval process for all documents produced at NGH. These can be found in the resource library in SiteDocs. Thank you for attending this QA training. If you have any questions in relation to QA, please contact the QA coordinator.